I would like to show you one more scenario here in this part. So I'm creating one more journal called general journal here with batch number 6 going for lines. So yesterday we have discussed about this functionality called uh, compound entry. So we have created 3 lines for a single voucher and seen how we use 3 accounts. Oh, we have paid 2 expenses using a cash account. So 3 accounts are used in that. We pay travel expenses and rent expenses using cash account. Today also we'll do the same kind of entry, but this time what we will do is we'll use this option of breakdown of voucher. So we have this one function called as breakdown of voucher. Okay, it is almost the same. I mean, the results are almost the same, but let us see how we can use this breakdown of voucher functionality. Okay, I am selecting here the account. Suppose I am selecting one of the account called rent account. Okay, and I am paying the rent for the location Chennai. Here, location values I have 4, right? I selected Chennai location. So debit amount is something like 10,000 for suppose I am using 10,000, and I am using offset account as cash account. Okay, I am using cash account from Chennai location. Here it is all right. But what happened is, so later I got to understand that I want to pay rent to all the locations, or I want to pay the rent amount to all the location, not to only Chennai location. So then what I'll do is I'll change this amount that I have to pay to something like 50,000. So I'm paying 50,000 rent now, but I want to allocate this 50,000 rent, or I mean give this 50,000 rent to more account. I mean for each location rather than posting it without any location. I want to give it for all the 4 locations. So for that we can use this functionality called breakdown of voucher. We can also use it for another purpose. I'll also show you that. So if I click on breakdown of voucher here under functions, here this is up with sales tax part. Ignore this since we are not using sales tax set. Here I can see rent account is debited with 50,000, cash account is credited with 50,000, right? But here from here I am trying to use the location values. So rent for Hyderabad location I'm selecting here. So I'm removing this 50,000 and giving something like 10,000 rent for Hyderabad location. Then I'll add one more line here. I have this option called add. So I will select the same rent account here again, rent expense account, this time for Bangalore location, and it automatically takes 40,000 here because that is the remaining amount in the voucher, because the other account is holding 50,000 credit, right? So 40,000 debit will show up automatically. So I will change this for Bangalore location. Since rents are high, I'll give 20,000 for Bangalore. So we are done with 30,000 almost we have given. So I'll click one more, select the same account like rent expense account again, but this time location is Chennai location. So the remaining 20,000 is showing up here. So I am paying rent for Chennai location. I am paying rent of 10,000, not 20,000. Then there is another 10,000 pending on the voucher. So I am using another account, another line here. So I'll use the same account, rent expense account. This time location is Mumbai, and for Mumbai the remaining 10,000 will show up automatically. So here I have broke the single voucher into 5 lines. So one will be holding all the credit balance, the cash account. It is a combined cash account. I am not giving any location for the cash account, but I am paying rent for 4 different locations. The same rent account I use there, I have divided it into 4 different parts, and the 50,000 I have divided here into 10,000, 20,000, 10,000, and 10,000 separately. Now if I click on update, the voucher will automatically gets broken and it will show 5 lines. If at all I miss some value here, or if at all I give some less value, suppose if I give 9,000 here I see update option, right? If at all I give a 9,000, update option will not appear because the voucher is imbalanced here. There is 1,000 lacking or 1,000 imbalance in the voucher. Credit is 50,000, debit is only 49,000. I should have 50,000 for debit also. This is how we break down a voucher, and I can update the same again. So let's see what happens once I update it. Here I can click on update. So if I update it, as you can see, the same voucher number 6 is taken here. This voucher number 6 is broken into 5 lines. So rent expenses Hyderabad location, rent expenses Bangalore location, Chennai location, Mumbai location. So rent account plus dimension value we have selected here. So for paying all the 49,000 expenses, the same cash account is used as a credit account. So we don't have any offset accounts here because the offset account is here itself in this line automatically the 40 for the 49,000 amount. So now this is a balanced voucher. You can see debit amount is 49, credit amount is also 49, and there is no imbalance. Every balance is 0. So it's perfect to be posted. So this is how we can use the breakdown of voucher functionality. So you can also normally give by hand. You can create line by line or by adding one account, and you can also do it. But there is another way of doing it too. Both are same. We can yesterday we have seen how we can manually do a compound entry. Here we use the breakdown functionality to create a compound entry. This is also a compound entry. We used a same account, but still we use different dimension values, right? So the expenses will be segregated in between the dimension values. Now I can validate this, and so it is saying journal is okay, everything is clear. I can post it. So it is posted. Now once it is posted, we can track the voucher here by clicking on voucher. So here same accounts with combined financial dimension values and the amounts here. So once the voucher gets posted, then only the balances or the amounts will get affected to those particular accounts in trail balance. So this is how we use this breakdown of voucher functionality. Try this one as well. And let me know if you have any doubts in this one until here. We can also use two different accounts. Suppose if I'll create a new journal for the same, I'll create a journal. I'll go to lines. So here I am using cash account, right? Suppose I use cash account. I don't use any location. I am crediting the cash account for something like 5,000. So I am using this functionality called as breakdown of voucher. I have not given that offset account also. Here I'll give offset accounts. So I'll select one. I'll give the travel expense account, electricity expenses. I pay electricity expenses for some 3,000 using the same cash. Then I'll add another account. I will use this what other expenses account if there are any. Okay, I'll pay that 2,000. So the same cash accounts I have selected 5,000. I have selected two other accounts as well. Expenses as debit. Cash account is being credited, which means I'm paying cash for these two expenses. We can also use two different accounts as I said. And I can click on update. So this update is available because I see both of them are balancing. I mean 5,000 is balanced. Debit and credit is balanced. So I can see. If I click on update, you can see the same voucher number 7 is broken into 3 lines. So 2 with expense accounts, 1 line with cash account. So I am paying this expenses using this cash account. Both of the expenses are debited. So I told you all the expenses are debit in nature and cash account is credited. So this is also another way. I mean, you can use the payment of you can use the receipts by dividing them or breaking down the voucher into multiple lines here in this way. So this functionality actually will be helpful when you have multiple lines in it. Suppose if here I have voucher number 7 only, right? So that's why I can now manually also do the same rather than using breakdown functionality. But in case if I have multiple lines, like suppose 100 lines, then if I click on creating new lines for breaking down one voucher, it would be difficult for me. So that's why I can select that single line out of that 100 lines, and I can use this functionality of break down the voucher so that the single voucher will be broken down into 3 lines. So without getting confused or without disturbing other 99 lines, I can break down this one line or one voucher automatically using this functionality. Since we have one voucher earlier 007, we can also manually do it here by adding one more line rather than using breakdown functionality. But in case if we have some vouchers like 99 vouchers in a line or more than 100 or any large amount of vouchers in a line like 7, 8, 9, 10 and almost like 20 or 30, then I want to break a single voucher or break a single voucher into multiple lines like this, then it would be difficult for me because I have to click new again here, then a new line will be added and I don't know where that new line will be added. That might be added just beneath just under this line or maybe after that 30 lines. Then it's hard to identify which amount is getting differentiated or allocated or which where the line is created and all. Sometimes system might trouble you. So for that sake, you can select the voucher that you want to break down. You can go for breakdown of voucher functionality and you can break it out
Okay.
without disturbing. Then I'll validate this and post it and post it until here. So that's all about using breakdown functionality. We have few things to discuss in this menu items. We'll see that now. Okay. So these are created journals. So if I refresh it, so those will go to posted. So you can see posted separately here. So all these journals we have posted except this one. This is in not posted stated. We just created it and it is still in draft. We have to post it. We'll post it later. Okay. Excuse me. So previously when I created a journal, here I have selected a journal. I told you that this is called as header level menu. Okay, when I click on lines, whatever that appears in the lines level is called as line level menu. Okay, this one is here is called as action tab, or some people also call it as action ribbon or action panel. There are multiple names. So I call it as action pane or action panel. So this one. So this one, the options in this one will be guided along according to the journals that we select here. So you have two journals, right? So I can post two journals at a time here by selecting two journals. If I select only one journal, I can post that one journal. In the same way, I can select multiple journals for posting at a time. If you feel that all the lines in that are clear, you can post all the journals at a time. So the options here in the action tab will guide you with the selection here and as well as the options. So if you click on new, it will create a new journal. If you delete one, it will delete this journal automatically. If I select multiple of them and delete, then I can delete multiple journals at a time. I can also validate multiple journals at a time by selecting and validating. Then for a single journal, if I see here, I can go for lines wherein I can create lines. So that's called line level menu. So in this, what all options we have is called as header level menu. We see that too. So again, we have another option called as open lines in Excel. So this functionality allows you to open an Excel file which is integrated to Dynamics automatically. It will open an Excel file. In that Excel file also you have to log in with the same credentials that you have logged in here in Dynamics. So what happens in that Excel file is it will show the same menu that we have in the journal lines level. The same, it will have the options to select date, accounts and everything will be read into the Excel file. The database we have in Dynamics will be read into the Excel file and there also you can select the accounts in the same way you have selected in the lines. So someday we'll show you this open lines in Excel functionality, how to create lines in. So it will be easy for you to create same kind of lines like payroll transactions. If you are creating, it will be easy for you to drag everything in the Excel file and copy the same date and same accounts, same amounts like that if you have to copy. But here in Dynamics, you have to manually create, right? You can't use the Excel functionality here. So this open in Excel will work in a different way. So once everything is filled in the Excel file, if I click on publish, so that will automatically create lines in the journal. The vouchers will be created in the journal automatically. So as I told you, I'll show you this one some other day because this doesn't work here in this demo environment actually. I'll show it in a live server. So that for that purpose we use this. For validation, we have this one validate option here. What this validate do is how many ever vouchers we have in this particular journal that we have created here. It will validate all the journal vouchers within the journal. Okay, all the vouchers will be validated if I click on validate. So I have an option called as post. Under that I have post and post and transfer. If I click on post, this journal will be posted. Now I can't post this because we don't have any vouchers created in this set. We'll create and post it. Suppose if I have more lines in this journal, suppose something like 100 lines. Okay, I have error in 1 or 2 lines. So if for in that case, if I click on post, it won't get posted. It says that there is a error with 1 or 2 lines. You have to clear it for posting. So entire journal will be stopped or will not be posted. All the 100 lines will not be posted. But if I use this post and transfer option, what happens is the 98 lines which are good and doesn't have any issue will get posted in this particular journal batch. For the 2 lines or the 2 vouchers which are having issues, a new journal batch will automatically gets created and those 2 lines will be transferred to the new journal batch. So journal batch number 9 will be created and those 2 vouchers will be automatically transferred to journal batch number 9. So that later you can clear or check the errors in that and you can post that journal batch number 9 also. So it's very hard. If it is hard to identify in the number of lines, it is hard to identify the lines with mistakes or lines with errors. So for that sake, we can use post and transfer option so that lines without any issue will get posted. The vouchers with issue or the lines or vouchers with the issue will get transferred to another journal where we can identify and track them or make necessary changes and later we can validate and post them as well. So that's the whole purpose of post and transfer. Then we have certain inquiries here. Actually, it's balance control inquiry. I'll tell you in the further class what's balance control and how we can configure balance control accounts. Then I have this option of printing. I can print journal or balances and I can also print the posted transactions by journal. This is available for the posted transactions. Actually, if at all we post something, this is not posted yet, right? So there won't be any posted transactions. So you can use this option. You can try in your system for printing the journal as well as balances. Okay. And so this options menu is always available in all the pages. So this option generally guides the page options we have in this. Okay. Nothing much to do with this options menu. We can see the record details which we have or who created that. But suppose if this is a place where we have vendor details, so we can see who have created that vendor details and all the record IDs related to that. So in backend in tables, when data saved, every data will have a record ID or what we also call as rec ID in Dynamics. So that record ID will be created for each and every thing that we create. We may we create any journal, may we create any vendor account or a customer account or fixed asset, anything. That record ID will be saved. So that will be identified here in record info. Then we can also check the security diagnostics here. So which all roles will allow, or as we have discussed previously about user and user roles. So which roles, people with which roles or users with which roles have access to this page can be seen here with security diagnostics. If I click here, it generally loads a menu here in the right hand side. So people with these roles have access to this page, journals. So all these roles go for only roles, not duties. So these people, the auditors, collector managers, and all these people have access to journals. So that I can see here under options. So that's with this bar, this one, action tab or action pane. Then here I have few more options. Under this, we have seen this two as well, not posted and posted. We have seen this. All means it shows all posted as well as not posted. Not posted only means it will show only not posted journals. Posted means it will show only the posted journals. Then user show user created only means, so lot of users will create transactions in business every day on daily basis. If I click on show user created, it will show the journals that are created by only by you. You will log in with a specific identity details, right? So with this identity details, if you have created any journals, it will show the journals created by you only. Okay. Then I have this list. If I click on list, I see this one only. If I click on general, I can see some details. I can see the journal batch number, the same. From here, it will show up journal batch number. The journal name selected is journal. So the journal type is daily. We all know that when we created the journal name, we have given it as daily. Then the description here. So you can also change the description if you want. Here, if you change the description as expenses payment like this. So here also the description will automatically change. So posting into current layer. So it will always be current layer and mostly it will be current. I mean, it will always be current layer, not mostly. In some cases in fixed assets where we have to maintain a fixed asset with two different layers, like for Companies Act and Tax Act, there we maintain another layer for fixed asset maintenance. That is only in fixed assets. I'll show you that. So always it will be current layer only. Current layer is the actual accounting layer for any legal entity. Then details level, it is saying details or summary. It will be always details. If I select summary, it shows the summary details in the journal normally, but it will be details only. Then I have this option called lines limit. This lines limit option generally gives me a limit for lines. Suppose if I can create any number of lines in the journal, as I told you, I can create 100 lines also. But if I say lines limit means I can create 100 lines in the journal. But while posting, whatever the limit I give here, suppose like 10 lines, if I give only first 10 vouchers will be posted. The remaining 90 vouchers will be transferred to another batch job, another batch journal batch number. Automatically another journal batch number will be created and the remaining 90 will be transferred to that journal batch number. So it gives a limit for number of lines to be posted in a single journal. So this is again applicable only for this one journal because we are giving this condition here in this for only one journal, right? So this is applicable for only one journal. So how many ever lines you create, if it is exceeding more than 10, only 10 lines will be posted. The remaining will be transferred to other journal batch automatically. Or it will be created, another journal batch will automatically gets created and lines will be transferred with this lines limit option. So there is no point of using this lines limit, but sometimes if you have to limit anything, sometimes if you have to limit only this, that only post 500 lines so that system performance will not be impacted. The additional lines we have other than 500 will be transferred to another journal batch and again you can post that journal batch later. So this will be posted first and later that will be created right with the remaining lines. So you can post that as well. So it all depends on the lines limit we give here. If we give 0, then there won't be any effect at all. You can create any number of lines. You can post the same number of lines in the same journal batch. Okay. So that's the concept of lines limit. We have this option again in journal name menu as well as in the, so we don't have in the line menu actually because lines limit will be seen here in the header level as well as journal name level. So I'll show you that one journal name menu as well. Okay, this is actually a reversing entry option we have. So this reversing entry, what it does is whatever the entry we post today will be reversed or the reversing entry will also be posted now itself for the date we have selected. Suppose I am creating an entry for 4th of August. So I'm selecting 31st of August for reverse and I enable this reversing entry. What system does is suppose if I post a transaction like so this one, suppose rent expenses for 500 and cash account created for 500 a transaction if I post, if I use that reversing entry option, so this is posted for 4th of August, right? So this is posted for 4th of August. If I use that reversing entry and I gave this date as 31st of August, system will automatically reverse or post a reversal transaction for this for 31st of August. Same cash account will be debited for 500, rent expense account will be credited for 500. So along with this entry, it will automatically post the reversing entry, but it will post for the date we select here. There are certain business scenarios where they use these kind of entries. So they will post an entry today and they will give a reversing date such that until that reversing date, system will show the accounting impacts for the posted transaction. Once we go for the reversing date, so it will be cleared, automatically gets cleared. So we post the future entry now itself. So that's how this works, or the reversing entry here. This is not related to reversing the, reversal of transaction. So for reversal of transaction, we have another way. For the posted transaction, in order to reverse it, we have another way. So this is only for the situation where the reversal entry has to be automatically created for one transaction that we post. So as I told you, if at all we post this transaction, rent expense debit, cash account credit, and I enable this reversing entry and give a date for such particular date, the same entry will be posted in reverse. Cash account will be debited, rent expense account will be credited. So that entry will be automatical again. It will automatically get posted. Automatic it is. So I'm not using it as a reversing entry. For now, I am leaving it. We'll see that later, or you can use it later if you want. Then this is all within this in this journal menu box. For setup, I have few more things. Actually, the account type we select is by default ledger. See, whenever we open the lines, we see the ledger right, account name ledger, and then we select ledger account. Account type is by default ledger. If you want the account type to be by default vendor, whenever you create a voucher, you can select here. So if you feel like it is ledger only always, because in journals we don't post vendor and customer transaction that often. So we'll let it remain as ledger. Okay. So here I can see something called offset account. I can give a default offset account for all the vouchers that I create. Suppose if I give offset account as cash account here, so whatever vouchers we create, offset account will automatically default in that vouchers. Suppose if I select rent expense account in the main account, offset account will be automatically cash account will appear. If I select travel expense in the main account, so then the second account in the offset account place, automatically cash account will appear. So by default it will take, so you can override it if you want to. For any voucher you can override it or change it from cash account to any other account. But in order to decrease the manual efforts, so you can, if at all if you feel like using a same offset account for all the transactions that you create or the vouchers that you create in a journal, you can use this option offset account as 1000. So I'm using this cash account here. We'll create some lines and see that example as well. Okay. So I have something called document here. Document generally indicates the invoice details. If they are, you can give any document number if there is anything attached to this particular transaction that we post. Suppose if we have any short invoice or any other unique number for this transaction, like as I can say, like if you are paying expense, right? For that expense, if you have any other bill or any number, so that you can attach that bill number or something like here in the document place. System will record that or save that data. It's not compulsory. Then voucher allocation. So for voucher allocation, number allocation at posting is there. Actually, this is a scenario where temporary vouchers are created when you create the transaction, but when you post it, the actual vouchers will be appearing. The journal actual vouchers will appear. When you create it, temporary vouchers will appear, and the temporary vouchers are taken from one number sequence which is in general ledger parameters actually. So there are certain situations where in business they will use this temporary vouchers concept. Mostly nobody will use temporary vouchers because it creates a lot of issues in business. But you can use this number allocation at posting. When you enable this, what happens is, here it is not available. In journal name it is available actually. Journal name menu, we can see that. What happens then is it will take a temporary voucher. When you create the voucher, it won't give journal 008 009 like that. It will give a temporary voucher. Later once you post it, After posting, you will get the voucher journal 008 and 009 like that. So that's with this number allocation at posting. Then I have one more option, amounts include sales tax. You can see it in most areas in the journal name level as well as the journal level. So if I enable this option, it will be applicable for all the vouchers that I create in the journal here. Again, I also have it in the line level. So if I in the line level, if I enable or disable this, that is applicable only for that one particular voucher. But if I do it here in this header level, it is applicable for all the vouchers that we create in the journal. So what is this functionality amounts include sales tax means? I'll give you a small example. So if I have this functionality as set to no, suppose amount includes sales tax set to no, if the original amount is like 1000 and there is a 10% tax on this original amount. So 10% on 1000 is equal to 100. So the amount on that invoice or that particular transaction is 1000 plus tax amount 100, total it will be 1100. It is when we set this functionality no, amount includes sales tax is set to no. Whenever we apply taxes, tax will be calculated on the base amount. On 1000, 10% will be calculated, which will be 100, and the total amount will become 1100. Suppose if I enable this functionality, amount includes sales tax, this 100 or the whatever the 10% sales tax is there, it will be included in the 1000 itself. The total amount will be 1000 only. Within that, we have sales tax of like 89 rupees or something, which will be included 10%. So in that, base amount will be something like 911 and plus 89 will be the tax amount. It will be like that. If amount is included in the if sales tax is amount it is included with the sales tax, the base amount will be 1000 and the final amount is also will be 1000. Sorry, the final amount will be 1000. The tax will be like this, 89 will be the tax and 911 will be the base amount or the original amount. Whereas if I exclude this option, amount includes sales tax will be calculated on this 1000 amount for 10%, which is 100, and total will be 1100. So these are the two scenarios when we enable or disable that option, amount includes sales tax. Okay, suppose if I do the same here in the journal level itself, so then by default it will be set as no for every journal that I create. So if I want to enable for anything, I can enable it or I can set it to yes. Okay, so under journal level I have, under header level I have, again under line level also I'll have. So in under line level what happens is it is specific for only that one voucher. For the remaining vouchers again whatever is here will be applicable. So if it is yes, it will be applicable for the remaining vouchers. So you can also override for those vouchers. You can set to no if you want to. Within the journal, if you create vouchers, you can set it as no for those vouchers. Okay. You have you have the overriding option in any level. So that is for this option. Then I have this legal entity for intercompany tax posting. So we will see this intercompany accounting part later. Actually, intercompany means transfer of funds from one company to another company, or I mean creating a transaction between two different companies. In that case, if any sales tax is included, where the sales tax effect has to be posted is the condition system is asking here. We have source company and destination company actually. Source company is where we are doing transaction. Destination company is which is getting affected or which is the second company that we select in that transaction. So tax will be either posted into destination company or source company according to the selection we do here in the header level for all the vouchers that we create in the journal batch. So tax will be posted if it is intercompany transaction. So it will select the tax will be posted either in the destination company or in the source company according to this selection. Mostly they will post it in the destination company only. They don't post tax in the source company, but it all depends again. Coming to this part, I have currency selection. So I don't have any default currency for this journal. So whenever I create a transaction, it will automatically take US dollar only because that is our accounting currency for our company. Suppose I feel that I have to create all foreign currency transactions only in this. I can select as other currency, something other than US dollar. I can select Euro or CHF or any other currency. So whenever I do transaction or create any vouchers, every voucher will be created in this currency only, whatever currency I select here. If I don't select any currency, by default it will take the accounting currency, which is US dollar in this legal entity. Okay, so that's with this currency part. If at all I have to do any all foreign currency transactions, all are euro. I don't have to change for every voucher. I don't have to change euro. I can directly give it here, so that for all the vouchers that we create in the journal batch, everything will be created in euro currency only, or any foreign currency that you select. The vouchers will be created in that foreign currency only. By default, it will take foreign currency as transaction currency for those vouchers. Then I have this fixed rate option. Generally, if you do foreign currency transactions, what happens is system will take exchange rate from that particular day of the voucher. For every voucher, you can give unique date. According to that date, system will pick the exchange rate. But for suppose I want the same fixed exchange rate for all the vouchers regardless of the dates. Then I can select this fixed rate option and I can give an exchange rate here, a fixed exchange rate between two currencies. So I select foreign currency transaction rate. So whatever the exchange rate I give, system will pick that exchange rate here from here. Regardless of the dates we select or the exchange rates we have in the exchange rates menu, system will automatically take the exchange rate from here as a fixed rate for all the vouchers that we create in the journal batch. Okay, most of them don't use it. So people who doesn't do foreign transactions on daily basis, who rarely do a foreign transaction, they will use this fixed rate option, so that for all the vouchers that they create, they will have a fixed rate, fixed exchange rate actually. Who doesn't mind these exchange rates actually, or the differences in the exchange rates, they will use this fixed rate. Who rarely do transactions like once in a month or once in a year like that. If at all they do daily foreign currency transactions, they will definitely have daily exchange rates and they will use the different exchange rates for each date. So system will automatically pick the different exchange rates according to the date we select for the voucher. So selection of voucher date is important when you do a foreign currency transaction. So that's with this part. Next I have this menu called as blocking. So blocking is in case if this journal is opened by any other user, so I can see this option as enabled in use. So if at all somebody other than me, if anybody opens this, I can see that it is in use. I can see it is in use here and in use by so and so person name will appear here, that username. So then I can see this blocking option as in use. Since nobody opened this, this in use is set to no here. If at all I want to open this, or I want to open, I can't open directly because it is blocked by someone else, or somebody is viewing it or making some changes in it. So if the user is not there at the system or is not available, then if you want to use the same journal or create something in that journal or make some changes in the journal, you can make this in use option will be set to yes actually. When anybody opens it, you can make it as no so that you can access it. Otherwise, you don't see this lines option enabled. It will be disabled. Once you make it in use to no, then you can see this lines option. Okay, you can also keep this as a private for yourself so that nobody can open it. So you can keep it as a private journal and private for your name. So yeah, since I logged in with admin details, I see my name here. So this journal is kept as private for me. So I can only access it and I can only do transactions in it. If I say not private means it will be available for public access. Anybody can access it. Okay. So if at all you keep private also, someone who is having the same authorization or permissions can also make it as public again and use it. No problem. Okay, if you keep it private means so people will be understanding like so there is something that you have to do with this journal. That is the purpose you kept it private and they don't make any changes in this or they don't open it anyway. They will let it go or they won't work on this and because you kept it as private. So that's why we have this option. There are certain situations where you have this option called locked by system. When there is a power outrage or any other time, if there is any technical problem or something, sometimes these journals will be locked by system and users cannot access these journals. So you can come here and set the system lock to no so that journal will be released and it will be available for accessing again. So there are certain technical situations or power outrage or sudden power cut when somebody is working on the journal, system gets struck or any other data issues, and that times journal will be logged by system. until and unless it is retrieved by someone or someone comes and unlocks it or unblocks it. You can also give it this journal as private for user group. I told you we can create user groups. Previous classes we have discussed we can create user groups. We can group 4-5 users as a group. I mean, we can select 4-5 users and we can group them. And if I give that group here, only that 4-5 users will have access to this journal. That it is this journal is now set as private for one specific user group. So only the 4 users in this user group can access this journal. Others cannot access. Okay. So that's with this only for this journal again, only for this journal batch that we have created here. These options are only for this journal batch, this blocking options. So this menu is entirely about blocking. So whenever in business or in job, when you fail, when you system throws an error message that it is in use by someone or it is blocked or it is private, you can come to this page and you can check it. In this blocking page, you can see if it is in use or if it is set as private or if it is private for a user group, you can check it. Or sometimes you may not find it also. Then in the journal name, we have this option for permissions. Once again, the same way for private for user group and all. We can see that in the journal name, when we access the journal name page, we can see here we can see blocking private for user group. The same option we have, it is in the journal level. So for all the journal badges that we create using this journal, for all of them, it will be private for, I mean, for all those journals, it is private for one particular user group. If we give here, so either it will be here or it will be here in the journal level. I mean the header level here in the journal batch header level. So in two places. Then I can give default financial dimensions in the header level such that whatever vouchers I create in the journal, for all the vouchers will automatically take the default dimensions. So if I select rent account and if I select department here as Hyderabad, suppose, I'm sorry, location here as Hyderabad, suppose whatever voucher I create, suppose if I create 100 vouchers, for all of them, Hyderabad will be defaulted. Along with the main account, Hyderabad dimension value will get defaulted automatically. So you can change it if you want in the voucher level. You always have the permission to override. Okay. Sometimes if you are doing journals only for Hyderabad location, you can give the default dimension here in the header level as Hyderabad. So that for all the vouchers that you create manually, Hyderabad will automatically appear rather than assigning it by hand manually. Some time will be saved for the user, or it will be easy for the user. Rather than giving dimensions for each voucher, you can give it for at the header level so that it will automatically get picked. Here again we have history and some details. If at all this journal is posted, we can see these details or history details. Who created this? Suppose if we have assigned this to a workflow, who rejected this and all details. If at all there is an error message while posting it, that log details can be seen here. If at all it is posted, the posted on details can be seen here. Suppose if I go for posted journals, I can see one of the journal here which is posted. I go for history, I can see it is posted and I can see the posted date and time. Normally I can see the same here also, posted date and time and posted yes enabled option. The same can be seen here. If at all there is any error message recorded, I can see that log details here. Although you clear the error, but the log will be available. So that's with history. Again, if I go to the line level here in the journal, and this is header level, right? So if I click on lines or click on this journal, it will take me to the line level. So here in the line level also almost I have the same kind of details. There are some additional details in the line level. So this is applicable for each voucher. So these details here and these details here. So these details here again applicable for all the vouchers again. But these details here are applicable for single voucher that we create. So we'll see this in next class, these few details in the next class. So what you can do is you can enable these options in the header level, few of the options, and you can do some transactions and check if it is working according to the explanation or not, or do some practice by posting more journals.